1950s, we had a wool boom here in New Zealand and Australia, and I have heard some farmers say to me that they had money falling out of their pockets, and I know that's an exaggeration, but it was their first taste of wealth. And then in the mid-1960s, Britain joined the common market, as we call it. Today I think they refer to it as the European Union. And at that stage, they were our #1 market for our meat and dairy products, and also a little bit of wool. We more or less, well, while we didn't lose it overnight, we lost it very quickly. And in the late 60s and early 70s, the government decided we weren't producing enough, or we're getting enough for our exports, and they offered farmers development loans. And you could apply for a $10,000 loan or a $100,000 loan or whatever. And providing you achieved your goals, from memory it was written off after 8 years. In other words, it was a handout. Not all farmers took up the opportunity. That was late 60s, early 70s. 1984 we had a change of government. The Labour Party won the election, and overnight they took away the SMPs from the farmer. The SMP means supplementary minimum price. So prior to 1984, farming was subsidised, and there are no subsidies of any kind on farming in New Zealand today. Well, then we had share market crash, and by the late 1980s, New Zealand was about broke. We were in a very, very bad way. Some farmers walked away from the land, and the banks put them off, and there was even a small number who decided they'd had enough of life and did away with themselves. So we had some pretty tough times. And I actually happened to be a justice of the peace, and it wasn't uncommon to have your clients in your office in tears. They just didn't know what to do with themselves. And the thing that was very noticeable to me was that the fact that they believed that they were the only ones being affected. And of course, it affected everybody, every business, and probably the only business that grew in those days would be councillors. And you know, I know we didn't replace trucks the way we used to. Our staff didn't get the overtime that they used to get, and things like that. But it's a little bit hard to say, but to be fair about it, it has been for the better, because they now produce what world markets demand, and they're very good at it. Prior to that, after the development loans, they were dumping produce on markets that didn't want it. And we had, at that time, a population of around 86 million sheep. Today, the sheep population is between 30 and 35 million, just depending on which newspaper you read. So that's more or less how farming has grown up. The majority of farms today are doing reasonably well. They will probably deny that, but I happen to know that it's not too bad a living. And from my point of view, I found my farm very, very easy to run. As far as I was concerned, it was a getaway and hide place for me. My phone would start ringing at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, and finish ringing at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. And half a season, it would ring 24 hours a day. And okay, while you have management there, they need their time off, and I used to take the phone as often as I could. And when the time became available, I would just go up to my farm and hide. But it was only a 5-minute drive away from the yard, and if I was needed, I could be back very quickly. And I know the farmer today, the drenching and shearing and that sort of thing, in lots of cases they get contractors in, particularly shearing. The shearing gangs go around. Like I don't really know of any farmers who shear their main flock. Shearing is very, very hard work. And I used contractors for everything. It was just a matter of getting the sheep into the yards or whatever needed to be done, and didn't really have the work to do. But just a little bit about sheep. The average lifespan of a sheep is 7 years, and their teeth either wear out or fall out, and they only have teeth on the bottom jaw. And as they get older, they don't produce the wool that they used to. And sometimes their udders pack up and they can't feed their lambs. So they go to the market or abattoirs. A lamb is known as a lamb until it's 1 year old. It then becomes known as a hogget, then a two-tooth, four-tooth, six-tooth, full mouth, full and failing mouth. And that's how you buy and sell sheep. It's either a two-tooth or a hogget or whatever. This is another area of land that's been set aside. This is the